Now, in 24 hours, Cop28 will come to an end in Dubai, but delegates are yet to see a draft of what the final agreement will look like. This means that negotiators will have to work into the night if an agreement is to be delivered by tomorrow. A draft document on the global stocktake has been released, but parties have expressed their disappointment with the language of the document, terming it weak, dangerous, incoherent, and favoring the fossil fuel producing countries. What exactly does this mean? Nation Media Group sustainability editor Zena Bondati explains from Dubai.
Debt restructuring is something that President William Ruto has talked a lot about, and he's also been on record telling people here in the climate conversations that there's no point in segregating the world or going on with conversations about North versus South. And so at COP28, Kenya has joined forces with Colombia and France to come up with a committee, a committee of experts who will review the debt situation for the countries, particularly in the global South, who suffer the impacts of climate change but are not able to fully defend themselves or protect themselves because of the burden of debt that they are in.
In Kenya today, we are going through a very serious flooding caused by unusual weather phenomenon, because of the enhanced rainfalls we call El Nino. A number of bridges in Kenya that were initially constructed using debt have been washed away. And Kenya has to borrow money to rebuild our infrastructure, our electric infrastructure, our road infrastructure, our bridges, and all those and other facilities that have been destroyed because of the extreme weather events that we are experiencing. The same can be said for many other countries of the world. And that is the problem. We are unable to access the required money to develop the necessary resilience and that we need because of the debt situation that we currently are exposed to. Our fiscal space does not allow us, and even the rates at which debt is made available currently is not sustainable. Yet the climate situation doesn't differentiate and requires us to respond.
Kenya says that this review is still in the early stages and they're still coming up with the terms of reference for the experts who will do the review. And they hope that by the next COP, something concrete will have happened. And they hope that more countries will join in, because debt is not just something that affects the global South or just affects Kenya. A lot of other countries are also affected. So Kenya is hoping that other countries will be able to join forces and then also follow through in the restructuring or the review of the debt.
So we are looking at the whole architecture of finance. In the Nairobi Climate Summit, what we said is we need a new charter, because the current framework that is in place, that was developed 80 years or so ago for a different world than the one that we currently are in, is no longer practical. It needs to be reformed.
COP28 is expected to end tomorrow, which is the 12th of December. But up until this point, we still don't have a draft negotiating text yet. We still don't have a draft decision yet. So delegates are wondering whether or not this COP is actually going to end tomorrow on schedule, or if it will have to be extended, although the President, Sultan Al-Jaber, is on record saying that no matter what happens, this COP has to end tomorrow. And Africa has expressed its concern. African civil society groups particularly have expressed their concern that the President of the COP is being very bullish or trying to bully the negotiators, and while at the same time not following through or not paying attention to the issues that Africa considers important, such as adaptation on the impacts of climate change.
Adaptation, as we see now, the money for adaptation is about to be grant-based. What has happened? What we have on adaptation right now is close to $140 million. How much, what is that in terms of the demand of billions for adaptation which we want in Africa? These are issues which we raised during the Africa Climate Summit. But, they have been swept under the carpet.